family, I believe the Lord is busy with a dislodging work, an unstucking word. I believe that a lot of us have been stuck in our souls. We've been stuck with certain things. We've been stuck with certain issues. We've been stuck at certain places. We've been stuck with certain problems. We've been stuck at a level where we feel the Lord is calling us to a next, but it just seems like we are stuck. We just can't break through. We just can't get there. You know, like when you're pushing something that has wheels, not your car, right? Like a wheelbarrow or something, and you're going over a rocky patch, right? And you go boom, 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 and at a stage the wheel can just get stuck. You know, imagine you have like bricks on there or something. So it's a heavy load, right? But then it just gets stuck, and then you can't just dislodge it. You know, you're stuck there. Something has to happen then to lift you out and lift you over so that you can keep going, right? And that's the image that I got in many of our souls. And it will be different for each one of us, but I believe the Lord has already started today to show many of us those things that are challenging us, that are keeping us bound, that is keeping us in that place of being stuck. And in this season where the things are flowing, in the season where it's the river of the Lord flowing, in the season where it's the oil of the Lord flowing, you know, we're supposed to be gliding. You know, when you were washing some tiles and there's some soap on it, and you can run and go. You know what I'm saying? You can go like this side. Have you done that as a kid? Eh? Or sometimes just a surface that's nice and slippery. Sometimes in the stores, as a child, you could feel that it's nice, and you go this way, and you slide along, right? And I believe that this is supposed to be the season. It's supposed to be a season of ease, of easier, of prosperity, of goodness, of excitement, of joy, of peace, of all the things that is the Lord, right? Because it's the year of the Lord. Amen? So it's supposed to be that, but now we are gliding, and then our foot catches something, and then we fall. Because we get stuck. And that's what I've been seeing, and I've been praying for you, my people. I've been praying and I've been weeping before the Lord. And I've been saying, Lord, my people are stuck. Lord, my people just don't seem to be able to break through. The same things just keep on, you know, when you trying to go and someone just puts their foot there and you stumble over it. It just seems like the same things are doing that to you. You just think that you're starting to glide along, and then you fall again. You are stuck. And you're so frustrated because you're so stuck. And you don't know what to do, but you're so stuck. And it just seems like something is just... And you see other people and they're gliding. And you're like, but how? You know, because you just feel like there's just something. There's this war going on, or something is just keeping you stuck. I don't know if anyone can relate to that this morning. Amen. So what the Lord has been doing, even through the worship today, is the Lord has been pouring out the Lord's oil into places of you that are stuck. The Lord has been greasing you up in a good way. The Lord is greasing you up for those pieces in you that just don't seem like they want to work anymore because it's so dry. And the Lord has come with this little can of oil, not little can, big can, heavenly can of oil, right? And the Lord is squirting. You know that sound that an oil can makes? Yeah. It sounds like that. Am I right? Yeah. And you put some oil in there, you put some oil in there, and the Lord has been doing that this whole morning with the worship that we had. Yeah. Don't you agree? Yes. Don't you just feel a bit more unstuck than you were before? Yeah. Just a bit more like relaxed, just a bit more free maybe even. Because the time in the presence of the Lord like this, the oil of the Lord flows over us. And the Lord is busy putting it in our joints, putting it in this joint that I needed to be in, putting it all over us, inside of us, so we can be unstuck. Amen. Amen. And that is where I believe we must be. So if that is you, then just take a moment and let's just pray. Lord, I pray that the rest of this word, Lord Jesus, will be powerful in your work, Lord, as you come and just unstuck us, Lord. Just come and lift us out, Lord. As you come, Lord, and grease us up with your Holy Spirit oil. As you come, Lord, and bring us out of those places that are so dry, Lord, that have been keeping us back, holding us back, Lord God. Just come and do a great work in each of our lives, I pray. Even more so, Lord, as I know you've already started, Lord, and I know you will complete it, Lord. We give you all the glory. Thank you, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen. So, family, I've started with, I don't know if it will be a two-part Pastor Rosh or what the Lord will do. But I call this today, and Siska has been so kind to put a cool picture there. It says, take responsibility for your soul prosperity. Okay? Because we are called to partner with the Lord. To partner with the Lord in our soul part. Our soul part is our will. I will do that. I won't do that. Our will. Our intellect or our thoughts. And then our emotions or our feelings. That is our soul part, right? Now, we're made out of three parts. I know I always tell you this, but it seems like my people forget that. You are made out of three parts, right? You have your body part, or let's say your fleshly part. You have your soul in the middle, and you have your spirit, which the Lord has made brand new the moment that you get to know Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit lives inside of you, right? So three parts, but the one in the middle is the soul. The one in the middle, the soul, is the deciding factor. Will I go flesh? Will I go spirit? Will I go flesh? Will I go spirit? It's your deciding factor. It's the one that actually decides which side will be the strongest. Who of you here are three kids in the house? Okay, hasn't it always been like that? Especially if you're the middle child. You know, do you go with the oldest, or do the eldest and the youngest team up against the middle child or something? I don't know, that's how I experienced it. You know, but it always seems like when you're three, you know, there's always a team of 2 and 1, isn't it? Somehow. It always teams up 2 against 1. For some reason, you see? And that's exactly what happens inside of us. Our soul will go either with that part, with the fleshly part and our natural part, right? Or the soul will go with our spirit part, our renewed part, you know, the godly part inside of us. So if you look at a title like this, then you will see that it says that you have to take responsibility. Because the Lord is not the one who drags your soul over to the spirit part. The soul and the prosperity or the health of your soul is actually your responsibility. And the Lord has given us various tools to help our souls to be prosperous. Because did you know that your soul can actually also be diseased?
Yeah.
Your soul can be sick.
Yes.
When your soul is sick or when your soul is diseased, when there is issues in you that you haven't dealt with, when there are injuries in your soul, you know, hurts that you haven't dealt with, that you haven't given to the Lord or so. It means that there can be disease in your soul. Dis-ease. You know? Your soul is at ease. So it means it's with the spirit, or it has dis-ease. You know? You know, dis-ease is you're just not okay. Something is just not okay. It's like that stuck thing again, right? You just don't feel aligned. You just don't feel like you're gliding. And that can be when there's still stuff in your soul that you haven't dealt with. And then it partners a lot of time with the fleshly side. Fleshly thoughts, fleshly emotions. Okay, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Siska, please will you start with my main verse for this, which is the 3 John 2. Now this one boggled us a little bit. Right, it's 3 John 1 verse 2. Okay, but you will see there is only one chapter of 3 John. Okay, so don't get confused. Right, it says, dear friend, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well. Can you get the KJV for me, please? Is it possible? Okay, Siska tells me it's not possible. Let me just get it here. Right. This one says, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you, even as your soul is getting along well. Now, if you look at it in the other versions, you really don't have it. Let me just see. Does someone else have it in another version for me, please? Perfect, thank you. Wow, now I'm in your WhatsApp. I can't read that. That won't work. Just check it out. Thank you. It says, beloved, I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. Now, I had a discussion with Pastor Rosh as a language teacher. What does this mean when it says, even as your soul prospers? And she said, well, it means that you can say, even as your soul is prospering, I pray that you may enjoy good health and it may go well with you. Or you can put it this way around. But technically it just means that your soul first has to prosper. Yeah. Then the prosperity or the goodness will flow into the other areas of your life. Yes. Even in your body, yes. Then good health will follow. Yes. Your soul has to prosper. Yes. Right? If your soul is not prospering, my friend, then other areas in your life will feel stuck. Right. Then your health will feel stuck. Yeah. Then maybe you'll even have recurring things that happen to your health. Because your soul is not prospering first. So your soul has to prosper first. And then the prosperity will go into all other areas of your life. Thank you, sir. And if you look at the word prosperity, it can be, many other words can be used in its place. Because when you think of prosperity, what do we usually think of? Wealth, money maybe, right? Well, it's so much bigger than that. I just checked it out. And some of the words there said success, profitability, affluence, riches, the good life, good fortune, ease, plenty, welfare, comfort, security, and well-being. I'm going to read it again. It includes all those words and even more. It says wealth, success, profitability, affluence, riches, opulence, the good life, good fortune, ease, plenty, welfare, comfort, security, and well-being. You know that song? It is well with my soul. Right? Now that is what prosperity of the soul is. It's that it's well with your soul. That things are aligned. That things are moving. That things are not stuck. That things are okay. And you can feel it inside you, can't you? Right? Think of those times where in your soul part you just felt discomfort, right? The opposite of all of this. You felt the disease. You felt the lack. You felt the, you just felt that feeling of being stuck, of just not being aligned with stuff in your soul. And now you can imagine with a verse like that, if your soul is then not prospering, what can happen in the other areas? Right? So sometimes even in the area of finances, guys, you might try and do the right things, you might do it the biblical way, but if your soul is not really prospering, then you might even struggle in that aspect of your life. Because the soul has to prosper for your soul to tag along with the Spirit and to do it God's way. And that's how you can enjoy the good things and the success in other areas. So I'm going to give you a moment with that. Just a moment with you and the Lord. And just think for a moment where your soul is at. Right? Let me just get your attention back. Here we go. Just think for a moment, where is your soul at? Right? How is your soul doing? Because you have to take responsibility for the prosperity of your soul. A lot of times it's easier for us to go around blaming other people, for us to be in denial about stuff that is still issues to us, for us to run and hide when we know we have to deal with certain things. But that's not the godly way of dealing with this. If there's something in your soul that is stuck and you become aware of it, you have to deal with it. So that you can enjoy the prosperity in your soul. So that that prosperity, that success, that goodness, that wealth, that comfort can flow through to other areas. In the Word, a lot of times the Lord talks about the rest as well, the rest of the Lord. And this is exactly the same concept. When you are at rest, It doesn't mean that there's no storms in your life. It just means that stuff can come your way, but you can feel that rest of the Lord. You just feel like, you know what, I'm still aligned. My soul is still well. But you have to check where you are, and you have to let Holy Spirit scan you. And I loved how the Lord did it in the worship today. As I talk more, you will realize that through so many of the songs, the Lord was actually bringing the word already. Through the spontaneous song, through some of the other things, splitting wide and all those, take me through the fire. We have to be willing to go to the Lord and say, Lord, I can feel that something is not okay inside of me. Lord, I can feel that it just feels like your anointing and your peace and your joy is not flowing through me like it should, Lord. It's just like there's a blockage in the tap where it should be flowing through, Lord. Something is not okay. And that's why when we sing songs like that and we say, Lord, I fling wide the door to my soul, then we give the Lord access and we say, Lord, come in, and whatever is keeping me stuck, Lord, come and remove it. But you see, then it goes a step deeper, because sometimes the Lord will come and start showing you specific things. Things that it is time to deal with. Things that it is time to let go of. People that it's time to make right with. People that it's time to forgive. It might be any of those things that is keeping you stuck. And my people, until you start really dealing with these things, there can be a lot of prophetic messages, Pastor Rosh. There can be a lot of prophetic words. There can be a lot of revelation words of knowledge. There can be preaching, there can be teaching, there can be all of these things. But if you still have that blockage in your soul, then your soul will not be prospering. Then you'll hear these words and it'll make you excited for a little while, but you won't understand why it's not having an effect on you like it should. But it's because there's blockages inside of your soul. So where is your soul at? Where are you at? And for how long will you let this keep going on? When are you going to start really going there and say, Lord, what is it? So let's deal with it, Lord. Tell me what I must do. So those things can be sorted out. Don't know what it is. Can be different things for different people, right? Because the Lord is taking each one of us on our own journey. So I said there's something called the prosperity of the soul. And it's supposed to be your success. It's supposed to be the ease. It's supposed to be the plenty. It's supposed to be that it is well with my soul kind of feeling. I just want to go one step back. We were singing a song, Pastor Rosh, about the image of God. Am I right? Make me into your image. Make me into your likeness. That song. Please can you put for me, Siska, just Genesis 1, verse 26. Because we talk a lot about destiny, right? And then we say, oh Lord, what is my destiny? And we search for this and that and that. But did you guys know that we all actually have the same divine destiny?
Yes. Amen.
Divine destiny.
Amen.
And it started here.
Yes.
This is when God created the first humans. And then God said, let us make humankind in our image, in our likeness. And let them rule over the fish of the sea and the ground. Our divine purpose was to live and move and breathe, to have authority and dominion, to rule and reign in the image of God that we were made in. That is our divine purpose. So even now, our divine purpose is for the Lord to make us and mold us and shape us back into that image. Because that was what we were supposed to be, but you guys know, sin came in, everything came in, and it broke us. It brought the hurt, it brought the brokenness inside of us. And since Jesus came and He reconciled us to Him, or we restored, the purpose has been in worship times, in intimate times, in His presence, in the Word, in prayer times, in every time that you have that connection with the Lord as you walk in His presence, is to shape us and form us back into the image of God. And that is how you get prosperity of the soul.
Yes, amen.
Is to allow the Lord to mold you and move you and make you more into that image every single day, more and more and more. But we can only do that when we allow the Lord to work on those areas that are keeping us stuck. I hope you're hearing me. Right? Because how can we be more made into the image of God? How can we step into more prosperity of the soul if we're holding on to some stuff? And whenever something happens, our reaction comes out and we're like, ah! You know, from our soul part. You know, the ugliness comes out. And we look at the ugliness and we're like, okay, ugliness back in my pocket. Till the next time you pop out. Then we carry on again. But we want prosperity of the soul. And we want more of our divine purpose. And then we look at our lives and we're like, but Lord, why am I not moving into my destiny, maybe in a serving area or in a ministry area or even in my life? Lord, I'm looking at my life and I'm just not seeing prosperity in my life. I'm just not seeing the goodness like you said that I'm going to see. Lord, I'm just seeing all of these things around me, but it's because your soul is not prospering. You notice that you remember Pokemon, right? You know, some people thought that Pokemon stood for pocket demon, but I don't know. But anyways, right, it was this idea of this thing that you have in your pocket. And then it can pop out sometimes, and other times it's there, right? And I think a lot of us have these things in our souls still.
Yeah.
That we are just refusing to deal with.
Sure. Amen.
And the Lord has shown us so many times. And then we look at this thing, we're like, you're a little bit ugly. You know what? I don't have energy for you right now. So just come and sit here again until the next time you pop out again. Then maybe I'll deal with you then. But then you wonder why your soul is not prospering. Because you're not allowing the Lord to take that very thing, come and mold it, take it away, so that you can become more like the likeness of God.
Yes.
Because certain things are not supposed to be part of us. You know what God is like. I hope you know what God is like. And we have to get to know God more and more and more. But certain things are not part of God. Worry is not part of God. Stress is not part of God. Anger is not part of God. Fear is not part of God. Rejection is not part of God. Blaming is not part of God. You know? And these things, we keep on carrying it. And then we wonder why we are not gliding through life like we're supposed to. And the worst thing is if we look at other people and they're gliding, and then we get jealous, or we get angry, or we get upset. How dare you be gliding and here I am stuck and falling over my own feet every now and again. How dare you look so happy, and meanwhile I'm sitting here miserable and I'm stuck. So at a time like that, when you start feeling those things, maybe it's time to go back to the Maker, go to the furnace of the Lord and say, Lord, you know, like David said, search me, O God. Search me and know me, Lord. See if my ways are wicked. See if there's any hurts in me. See if there's anything in me, Lord, that is opposite to your image, because I need to be made into your image more and more and more, Lord. So whatever is in me, Lord, that shouldn't be there, whatever is in me that is stopping your flow, that is stopping the prosperity that I know is supposed to be mine, because I'm supposed to be more and more like you, Lord. Come and remove it, Jesus.
Hallelujah.
But you know, it's going to take responsibility on your part. Because it's easy to look at this thing and then say, okay, Lord, so you do what you need to do. And the Lord does it on a spiritual level. The Lord is cool like that. The Lord comes on a spiritual level and He can do it. But then the soul level is still our responsibility.
Yes.
How are you thinking about that thing? What are the feelings that you still have about that thing? What is going on in your will about that thing? I will not give it up yet. I'm not ready to deal with this.
Sure.
You know? What can the Lord do then? What can the Lord do if that is the attitude, if that is where you're at? The Lord starts showing you this little thing, and He starts showing you images of where you were a child. He starts showing you images of maybe, you know, a parent rejected you, or an image of where you just got so hurt when you were younger, and you just remember the feelings of that, and even now when you think about it and that hurtful event in your life, it can bring tears to your eyes because it's just so real still, and it just feels like the knife is still sticking in your heart, and you can just feel it, and every now and again you can feel like that knife is being twisted, and you can see it's still there, but it's from years ago, but it's still so sore, and you can see, but your thoughts are still, when you think about that thing, it's just a mess in your head still. And in that moment when the Lord brings such a thing to you, you have a choice. You can say, Lord, I'm not ready to deal with it. Put it in the pocket until the next time it jumps out. But then, like I say, then the prosperity of your soul can't be there. Or you can say, Lord, I'm going to be courageous. I'm going to be courageous, Lord, by surrendering to you.
Yes.
I'm going to be courageous, Lord, by becoming vulnerable.
Yes. Amen.
I'm going to become courageous, Lord, because I cannot deal with this anymore. I don't want to carry it anymore. Lord, I'm so tired of this thing. I'm so tired of knowing this thing is here and not knowing when it's going to jump out again. I'm so tired, Lord, that when I'm thinking about this thing, I still get those same feelings, like it happened to me just yesterday.
Sure.
Lord, I cannot carry this anymore, because it will steal from you. It will steal from you. If you have to take responsibility for your soul prosperity, yes, it means you have to be in the Word, of course. Yes, it means you have to spend time in prayer. Yes, of course. Yes, it means that you have to worship and you have to be in the presence of the Lord. Yes, 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 all those things. You know, the best thing you can do is to behold the beauty of your Lord. Because when you're beholding, Siska, you can put that up for me, 2 Corinthians 3:18. When we are beholding the Lord, when we're in worship, and all we can see is just our amazing God. It's in that moment that the Lord can come and start working on those things. So yes. Yes, look at that. And we, with unveiled faces, all reflect the Lord's glory. We are being transformed into His likeness with ever-increasing glory, which comes from the Lord who is Spirit.
Yes.
So in those moments, yes, it happens, but you always still have a choice whether you are going to let it go, whether you're going to give it up.
Yes.
Because the Lord can touch on something, but it's like a raw nerve. And the Lord touches on something and He just says, you know, that thing that happened there or whatever, it's time, my child. And you can say, ooh, Lord, that's too sore still. Hey, skip next. Or you can in that moment say, Lord, I'm trusting you and I just want to behold you, Lord, and come and do what you need to do. With a lot of spiritual things, we might want to go ahead. But if our souls are not aligned like they should be, if our souls are not on the right side like they should be, if they are not prospering like they should be, if we cannot say, you know, with a smile on our face and peace in our heart, it is well with my soul.
Sure.
Then you must know that you'll even struggle to see those spiritual things in your life.
Yeah, amen.
And you might get frustrated. So maybe it's time that you really start trusting the Lord. Pastor Rosh and I were discussing this at length. We were saying, you know, I think sometimes maybe people can look at us and they can say, sure, but you look so happy, or you look so peaceful, or you look so what, I don't know what. And believe me, it's not something that happened the moment I became a pastor. It wasn't when they were laying hands on me, apostle and prophet, and I'm just like this, you know. But I thank the Lord for where I'm at. I know the Lord is still working. I know there's still a lot of work in me. But I thank the Lord for where I am at, because at a stage with my overseer's help and with Pastor Rosh's help and with the Lord's work in me, the Lord started transforming me. The Lord started taking the hurts in me. The Lord started to take the stuff that I was feeling stubborn and rebellious about, and the Lord started taking these things. And I thank the Lord that, you know, a lot of times I told the Lord, not now, back in my pocket. I did it a couple of times, you know, but there were those times where I was willing to go and say, Lord, I surrender to you.
Yes.
And I'm not saying anything about myself here. I'm saying that this works.
Yes.
This is how the Lord works.
Yes.
And I am the person I am today because the Lord started working on those things in my life.
Yes, hallelujah.
It took a long time. It took a lot of responsibility taking.
Yes. Amen. Come on.
It took a lot of submitting to the
Come on.
Lord.
Come on.
It took a lot of accountability with the Lord. It took a lot of time to say, Lord, I'm choosing against myself and my flesh and what it wants to do. And I'm choosing your spirit, Lord, and I want to be aligned with your spirit and what you want to do, Lord, so have your way.
Yes. Come on.
And we have that choice because the soul is in the middle. You see? But you have to continuously make that choice to say, Lord, yes, I'm open. Open the door of my soul, Lord.
Yes,
I'm going to make myself
hallelujah.
vulnerable before you come and knock, Lord.
Hallelujah. Yes.
Continuously. And then you let it go.
Yes.
And then the Lord will leave you for a little while. The Lord is awesome. And then you chill a little while maybe. And then the Lord will come with the next round of what needs to be done. And then once again you can say, no Lord, not now. Or you can say, yes Lord, let's go. Because I know what's on the other side of this is much better than what I'm experiencing right now. I might not know exactly what it is. I might not know what it's going to look like. But oh my golly, I want it. I want it, Lord, because I know on the other side is more of your freedom.
Yes.
Is more of your prosperity. Is more of your success. Is more of you, Lord. And that's what I want. But we can also choose to just be there and just be stuck.
Sure.
And my prayer for you is that you will allow Holy Spirit to start talking to you about where you're at. Because you can stay there and be stuck. Even worse, you can take a couple of steps back. You can say, you know what, Lord, this business is too hurtful. I'm not ready right now. But it all depends on what you choose. Because that will influence your soul prosperity. That will influence your very health, your soul health, and the quality of your life. Lord, I just pray, Holy Spirit, move through this room. Lord, I know you are always working, and you said in your word, Lord, that you will complete the work that you've started. Lord, and I pray on my behalf, but also on the behalf of my people, Lord, that we come and we put ourselves on the potter's wheel. Put ourselves, Lord, on the altar. We come and we put ourselves, Lord, in vulnerability, in openness, in transparency, in accountability, Lord, in any way that's necessary, in surrender, Lord, in your mighty hand. Lord, because we have such a hunger and a thirst for you and for more of your things, Lord. But there are stuff holding us back.
Thank you, Jesus.
Lord, come and do a mighty work, I pray. Come and work, Lord, where you need to work. And I pray, Lord, let us just be willing to be aligned with you, Lord, and what you want to do. Let us go with that side, Lord, of the choice to have more of you and more of your kingdom in our lives. That's what I pray, my Lord.
Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Lord, in Jesus' name. Just want to share. Skipping over many of the scriptures, this guy will get to it at another time. I just want to show you what happens to us if we refuse to deal with stuff. Can you please go to Psalm 32, verse 3 to 5? Remember, we always say sin is not just sin as it is described maybe in the 10 Commandments or so. Sin is anything that is opposite to God. Sin is anything that sets itself up against God. And sin is anything, you know, that is not the image of God. Right? See what happens here. This was David speaking. He said, when I kept silent, you know, when I put the thing in my pocket, my bones wasted away through my groaning all day long. For day and night your hand was heavy upon me. My strength was sapped as in the heat of summer. Selah means pause for a moment and think about it. Then I acknowledged my sin to you. I did not cover up my iniquity. I said, I will confess my transgressions to the Lord. And you forgave the guilt of my sin. Basically, he was saying, you know, when I kept it inside, when I didn't want to deal with stuff, it made me sick. It brought disease. It stole my joy, it stole my peace. But the moment that I can connect with my Lord and I can give it up, I can speak about those things, I can confess it, the Lord comes in the Lord's mercy. He forgives it. He removes it from me. And that prosperity in our souls can start flowing. I think that's where I'll stop for today. I want you to please continue to look at the verse that is the main verse for me. That's 3 John 2 or 3 John 1, 2. About the prosperity of the soul. And in this week to come, just start spending time with the Lord. I can't do it for you. The Lord can't even do it for you because the will is there. The Lord gave us our will so that we are allowed to make a choice. So my question to you is just how long? How long? And how do you know that an area in your life is not okay? You'll recognize it by a couple of things. You'll recognize it by the way it makes you feel. And the way that it makes you feel will not be a way that's nice for you. You'll recognize it by your reaction to it. You'll recognize it by the feelings that it brings up in you, just like I just said. And you'll recognize it by the influence that it has on the relationships around you.
That's right. Come on, that's good. That's good.
So if you can recognize these things, if you can become self-aware, that means that you can start giving it to the Lord so that more prosperity can flow. You know, people can do a lot of things, people can say a lot of things, and we cannot take responsibility for what other people say and what other people do. But we can only take responsibility for ourselves. We can only take responsibility for our reactions to stuff.
Yes.
And the same person can do something to me,
Yeah.
and I can react in this way,
Yep.
fleshly way, or I can react in a spiritual
That's
way.
right. Come on.
Because in that moment I do have the choice. Sometimes just we've become so used to it that it's a habit that we think there's no choice made because it's almost an immediate reaction for us.
Right. Come on.
But it's still there, and it still means that you can start partnering with the Lord on it.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay, so it's so easy for us to say, no, you know, this person did this and this to me,
Yeah,
and because they did that to me,
Yeah.
I reacted this way.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Take responsibility
Come on.
for your reaction. You can say, this person said this and this to me, and because they said this, you know, that is how I felt. No ways.
Yeah. Come on.
No ways.
That's good.
You must take responsibility for your feelings, for your reactions, for what's happening inside of your soul.
Yes.
Because blame is not going to help.
Yeah.
Denial is not going to
Yeah.
help. We can each just take responsibility for ourselves, even though I want to do it for each one of you, my people. I would love to, but I cannot.
Yeah.
But the prayer of my heart is just, put that first verse up again. I'm going to pray that very verse over you.
Thank you, Jesus.
I'll use the words of this one. It says, I'll say, my people, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you,
Thank you, Lord.
even as your soul is getting along well.
Thank you, Lord.
My people, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you,
Jesus.
even as your soul is getting along well.
Hallelujah.
My people, I pray that you may enjoy good health and that all may go well with you,
Thank you, Jesus.
even as your soul is getting along well.
Thank you, Jesus.
In Jesus' name.
Thank you, Jesus.